Yo, everybody hear me? Everybody hear me? Let me know everybody hear me. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background in the man cave. Check this out. So I got some feedback. All right. All right, excuse the noise, but welcome to the Take It Home podcast. This is Chris Classic. I have a special interview today talking to one of my homies, one of my brothers. I'm going to put him on soon. He's already in the back of the chat. Before we talk about a few things that he has going on, make sure you subscribe to the Take It Home podcast on YouTube. That's this logo at the top. Then also C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That's at my corner. So make sure you subscribe to both of those on YouTube. Let me show you guys what I got going on. I only have one more show for the year, and that's Out of Control 2. Now that's Wrestling at the KI Convention Center. C3 Ultimate Wrestling is also a excuse me, sponsor for the show. So make sure you guys get tickets for it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's going to be a very good show. Okay, so I'm going to add my guest here. 1 second. All right. What up, bro? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So without further ado, tell everybody who you are.
Well, of course, I am the sexy psychopath. Me, D'Angelo Steele. That is me. I'm here with my girl Rachel, looking beautiful and shiny as ever. You know.
You gave her a name, Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel. Come on now.
Out of why Rachel?
Everybody know about Rachel.
Well, why Rachel of all names?
Mm, I like Batman, so I think the funniest thing to me was, not everybody, but when I was in the movie theater and she was on the phone, it's like she was like, Harvey, I just wanted you to know, and then she blew up. I thought that was hilarious, and I just remember him going, Rachel, Rachel. So that's why I
So
named her Rachel.
you named a belt after a blown up corpse. Okay,
Yep.
you really are a pretty psychopath. All right, so um, since I've been in the business, I've known you.
Yes,
So, but I
sir.
want you, and you started before I did and things like that. Even with my wife, Sensational Shay, with a lot of things. But I want you to tell everybody how you got started in the business.
Well, funny thing is, I was going to start wrestling. I think at WCPW at first.
Yeah.
My grandmother had randomly told me, "Oh, there's a gym that has a wrestling ring in it," and I was like, "Oh, And then by the time I went over to actually go look at it, WCPW had closed down already. So I had to go look around for other places, which initially led me to, I think it's, what was it called? Ivan's place, Ivan Tooks. I think it was IWA, IUWA.
IUWA. Yeah.
Yeah. But then before even that all happened, I wound up getting in touch with somebody that knew about Gordon and LOW. So then during that time period, I took a look over there and met a couple of people, and it was something that I liked. So I think from there it just happened to span off. I met a couple of people, Gordon. I met your wife Shay. It was a guy named Matt. It was a lot of people. It was just kind of like a little startup. It was something for me to get my feet wet, sort of say. But it was a nice little family feel. Everybody was treated like brother and sister. We had a good time. It was not too much drama. But then that's initially how I got started. And then I think a couple of years passed and found my way at Galley. And I was at Galley for a while. And then in between Galley, I would do, about this place, PPW. And then I was there with Randy Ricci. And, going back and forth with Randy Ricci and Carlos with Galley. And then meeting people like Jesus Bryce and Acid Jazz and Mojo McQueen. I just started to expand my knowledge and expand, uh, going different places and things like that. And then I think from there, I kind of just expanded to where I'm at now, just trying to continue off of that.
I I understand that. Now went to a lot of spots where you wrestled at, bought tickets, did training and things like that. And I've always said to you that like, I feel like you are one of the best people out there. I'm not just saying that as a brother, but it was just like how you do perfect your craft and you give 110%. A lot of people they give a certain amount if they winning or if something good is happening, but you've always done things and I always feel like you was basically made for this. Because I remember one of the first matches I seen when I went to the PPW show, the first one I went to, you went against Mojo McQueen. When I remember at the end of it, the man put a chicken foot in your mouth, and but 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 it was very entertaining. Like the show,
Yeah,
like it was good. Like the whole show was good, but even like looking at what you did with Mojo, I was like, this, even before that, what we was doing with IUWA and things like that, I was just like, if Ivan would tell you to go do something, you'd have no problem doing it or whatever like that. You just wanted to wrestle. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
always something that I admired about you, even when you was going by Little Devil and stuff. And Gordon would give me at the time old like DVDs of you wrestling and everybody else wrestling in the LOW at the Paul Hall Center and things like that, and see like your matches and Shay's matches and Gordon's matches, like Rion's matches, like a lot of those guys. So I was always entertained by that. It was just like you guys always had like a standard when y'all would wrestle. So
Appreciate that. I do the best I can. I ain't necessarily taught early on not to have a big ego, but I think my whole thing for me is I want everything to look good. Even if it's just my match, I want to look good. I want my opponent to look good. I want the people in the crowd to go away, going home like, man, that was a good match. I remember so and so, or Little Devil, I remember him, or Max Holiday and Little Devil. I remember that match they had, and it was top tier. I had always just set a standard for myself because this is basically something I've always wanted to do, and now that I got the opportunity to do it, it's just I want to go above and beyond if I can. But I'm my own worst critic. So, hearing all that from you, it's nice. But I just put it, I'm just doing the best I can. I know back in the day, Gordon told us when we get 10 plus years in the business, you consider yourself as a vet.
mhm.
And granted, I have been in the business 10 plus years, but I still don't see myself as a vet. I treat everybody the same. I still stuff I need to learn, still stuff I need to work on. So, I just try to go out there and just make sure everybody have a good time and go home with something that they can remember and then make them want to come back.
Okay, that's good. And one thing that you said that I truly agree with is you said that like you care about not only just you looking good, but your opponent looking good. And
Yeah.
that's always like a big thing for people is, you got a lot of people that only care about themselves. And I've never considered you egotistical, but you do care about your craft. And there's a big difference. And people like to try to put them together and things like that. And I've always felt that like when you have an opponent or opponents, those are your dance partners in there. So if they look bad, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna look bad too.
And I definitely don't want to be in there dancing and stepping on toes and they be like, oh, I don't want to come back and see this. These people don't look like these people don't know what they're doing. So, I'm just trying to be great in my own special way. There's plenty of people I still want to work. There's plenty of people I still want to get knowledge from. I'm just still learning and growing. All this, quote unquote success I've been having. And, it's, I'm still getting used to it. It's not something that I was looking for or like clamoring for, but it's nice to get recognized, because there was a time where I just felt like, well, maybe I should just stop because it's like, well, nobody notices, so what's the point? But I couldn't. I wasn't happy being in that mindset because I love wrestling. So I just stick my nose to the grind and watch as many matches as I can. I watch people like Marche. Of course, I watch WWE and all that. But people I personally know. I watch their matches. I get info from them. What I can do to be better. Theory wise, promo wise, anything that can help me get to that next level and basically gets that crowd like, you know what? I want to go see D'Angelo Steele over here, over there, over there, over there. Just doing the best I can.
That makes you a worker. And I posted that a lot, that there's a difference between workers and wrestlers. I think that we have a lot of wrestlers, if you call it that, me, because but we have way less workers, because
Yeah,
even when I give you a compliment, anybody give you a compliment, you don't be that excited. You be like, I could have did this and I could have did that, and I understand that, because I'll have a great match, right? And then
yeah,
thing will mess up, and I'll be like, nah, man, no,
right.
nah,
You,
we got to redo this again, even though we're not.
yeah.
So
It take all the way from it take that one little mistake. You forget about everything else that you've done right in the match, and
yeah,
then you focus on that one thing. But you got like everybody over here telling you like, "No, man, that was good." Da da da. I'm like, "Yeah, you was right, but if I would have just did this,
right, it
it
would
would
have
have
been
been that much better."
right. So now I definitely understand that, because I remember like looking at like a lot of your matches. I'm like, man, that was dope. He's like, yeah, it was alright, but I'm like, man, shut up, dude. Like, like shut up, man. That was a great match and stuff like that. And I've always said that. I'm like, dude, like
Take the compliment.
there's not a lot of people I really stick my neck out for like somebody say,
Yeah,
hey, I need a good person or something like that. I'll say somebody like you first more than a lot of people. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because you want to be entertaining and you care about that, regardless of face, heel, or anything like that. You're going to give 110% and things like that. So always appreciative. So, how many years have you been wrestling?
Whoo, Jesus. Um, my math isn't that great, but I want to say maybe 12, 13 years, maybe.
12,
You
13
know,
years.
it's been a while. It's,
So,
it's up there.
yeah. So, certain standards would say you are a quote unquote vet.
Yeah, certain standards. But
I,
I don't know.
it,
I eventually I'll come to terms with that vet word.
it's iffy. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's iffy, but excuse me. So 13 years in the game, what could you tell people who want to be as consistent as you? What would be some advice? Excuse me.
Don't beat yourself up too much because if you harken on something, it's gonna sit there and it's gonna stir. I just want to say, take take advice from everybody. I mean, especially those that's actually watching your matches. Some people may say they watching your matches, but they're really not. But I think you could tell who's really watching your matches.
Mhm.
Sit down with them and ask them what could have been done better here. Theory wise, just overall working the crowd wise. Just really examine what you want your character to be. Um, I like going back and watching. I mean, it's kind of on subject, where everything been going on, but I like going back watching CM Punk doing his whole little run when he was champ and how he went from face to heel, how I saw his side of the story versus where everybody else was kind of like, oh no, you can't do that, you can't be that way. And I take a lot of inspiration from like TV shows, anime. I watch different sort of characters. I watch people's facial expressions, their inflections, everything like that. I kind of just take it and I add it to my and I make it my own. You know, I've noticed that, your face, that's your money,
Mm-hmm.
so you want to make sure the crowd always sees your face all the time. Like, cause I think that's what pulls people in. Like, I think about Shawn Michaels and like how his facial expressions will just make the crowd pull them in. It's like, oh my gosh, Shawn's really hurting. How can he finish this match? I think back to him and Triple H at that SummerSlam match, his first match back, and I don't know how long.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching him go through these things, because I never had the privilege of watching Shawn Michaels in the 90s. So that was kind of like my first introduction to him. And I'm sitting here watching all this, and I'm like, how can this man do all these things? Like, I know he's selling, but like, God, Triple H, you're killing this man. And I know they in there busting their ass, working, 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 working. And I'm just like, I take that and I try to focus on that so I can pull the crowd in. So I say anybody that's really want to connect, just make sure you're in tune with your character. Make sure you showing your face. Uh, you know, the moves will come. That's why we practice. You know, the moves help. You get them right. That's another dressing on top of everything. But I just say just be humble. Of course, always be humble. Don't think you know everything because you definitely don't. Like I said, I'm still learning. So just always have an open mind. Don't try to be like, oh, I don't need to listen to him. I don't need to listen to her. Everybody is here to help. So don't shy away from nobody giving you any type of advice, unless you know they just hate
Yeah. Um, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Like you brought up a good point about like practice, like your face and expression and things like that. And you're very top notch with that. Like you know how to get the crowd into your match, even if they're on their phone. Like if somebody slam you screaming or something, or
you.
somebody chop you, you like like you know how to draw people in, and that is something that I wish people would like when they look at your matches, they pay attention to that because that's what get people to look at you. What can you do? And even your opponent, dang, this dude is screaming. Why is he screaming like that? You know what I'm saying? Why is he laughing like that? Like I remember Trey, he recorded he screen recorded when me and you went against each other and you did the bank kick off, you did the elbow drop. I was gonna put it on here, but I ain't have enough time. But
Oh,
small stuff like that is funny. I mean, we almost fell on somebody in that match, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah, and like the many times we faced each other, it's always been fun because I know that you're gonna work the crowd. And I remember when you was going through a flux about certain things because I do feel that a lot of companies they didn't know your worth or they took advantage that you would literally do anything for companies. And I think that people started feeling a certain way and got in people's ear and things like that. And I remember you feeling a certain way about that. And I'd always be like, hey, bro, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. But I ain't gonna lie, I can understand how frustrating that it can be because you just care about wrestling. You care about how you carry yourself and things like that. And for you to give 100% and somebody don't reciprocate that to you, it's kind of messed up.
it really is. I'm not one for quote unquote politics and all that, but I just feel like I've always felt like you see who out there, quote unquote, busting their ass, doing the work, and I just feel like you should get rewarded for that when you can, even if it's just like hey, I saw you out there, you killing it, that's fine. It's just I just felt like at the time I ain't gonna say I was necessarily felt unappreciated, but I felt unappreciated, but like I said, it's whatever. I put my head down and I keep doing the work because, like Macho Man said, eventually the cream rises to the top. So I put all that, I just put all that behind me. I don't try to let it make me feel some type of way. I kind of just use it to make me better. I'm like, oh well, all right, I'll do this over there then. Oh, well, I'll do this over there then. They can have it. If you don't want it, I'll take it over here. So I think back then I was just in a whole different mindset. Now, I'm a little bit older, so like I kind of understand certain things a little bit more. I don't want nothing to bring my mood down.
Hmm.
I know what I have to bring to the table. So it's just a matter of whoever accepting it and wanting to bring me that to their show.
Yeah. It's like even like you said, like what Macho Man said, the cream rises to the top. When you see them haters, you gotta say goodbye. You get what I'm saying? Bye. You
Say
gotta
goodbye.
be
Say
say
goodbye,
goodbye.
haters.
But you talked about CM Punk and like how you kind of like liked what he did and how he carried himself. What were some other wrestlers or current wrestlers that you look at or interested in or like help you with certain things? Like who else do you look at besides Punk and Michaels?
Um, Definitely Randy Orton. Man, I just love how smooth and fluid he is.
Yes.
Uh, when I talk about facial expressions, I think about Randy Orton, especially the time when he was kind of starting to creep into the whole Apex Predator, the whole IED situation where he just snapped off and hit something. I
Hmm.
remember that whole little feud he had with Triple H where he RKO'd Stephanie and sit up there and just slowly crept and looked at Triple H and kissed Stephanie. The just Randy would make you hate him,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what I like. Like I remember him going through that whole phase, just because I distinctively remember there's Evolution Randy, and then there's Randy on his own, becoming sadistic, becoming vile, becoming evil, doing whatever he can to win, and that always stuck with me. Another person that I look at, I would say, I've always liked Cesaro, and I would say it's his in ring prowess. He promo wise, he's good, but a lot of people, I won't say like, oh yeah, this particular Cesaro promo sticks out, but like watching his in ring work, it's amazing. Same thing goes with Daniel Bryan and people like Kenny Omega and Osprey. Granted, I would love to do a 630. You know, if it ever happens, great. But just watching their build of matches, series of matches like with Okada and Omega, just watching it build and build and build and build. Taking that and applying it to my matches and like, okay, well, we'll start here and we'll play this, but we'll bring that back here, or we'll put this here. Just different aspects that I would not see coming. It, when you really get into the aspects of wrestling, it blows your mind. Because I remember how I used to watch wrestling as a fan versus how I used to watch wrestling as a wrestler.
Thanks.
So it's like it like opens your mind to like a big. It's crazy. Like I think one of the things that really blew me away. I remember when Goldberg initially came back and he
Hmm.
had that match with Brock Lesnar, and it was like Goldberg of old. Spear, jackhammer, that's it. I was like, what?
I loved it.
No, you're
People
right. You know
hated
what I
it.
mean?
I loved it, but people hated it. I loved it. One for two reasons. One because I love Goldberg and I understand now as a wrestler I love the aesthetic of Goldberg. Two, that show was already long, bro. I was halfway going to sleep. That was like the only match I wanted to see. So
Yeah.
for it to only be like a minute and 25, I was happy. It was so nice. I watched it twice that night.
It like that that whole bill was just crazy. And then like I remember after that, Brock he just kept getting, quote unquote bitch to Goldberg. And then it led to WrestleMania when they had that match. And that match, it blew me away. I mean, even though it was what it just, Brock dominating, but it made sense to me.
Mhm.
And like, when I think about psychology,
Mm,
I that's where it come in at. Like with things with like Daniel Bryan and Zack Sabre Jr. I wish that my technical prowess was on the level of like a Zach or like a Daniel, but just they're unbelievable. If I could like just sit there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes with them, I feel like I would be a better wrestler all around because I feel like I could just soak up all that knowledge and make me so much better.
mm,
Better at telling stories, better at telling a story with the moves that I do, with the words that I say, the trash that I talk during the match. All that just leads into one big ball. Even with Roman Reigns in the run that he's on, like I know people say it's repetitive, but it works.
mm.
You know, I mean, you can't tell me that we all thought Cody was going to win at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I thought Cody was going to win,
I would have
but
bet.
then
I would have bet.
what I'm saying, and it's just that flip, and you just don't expect it, and it's like, wow, all right, you got me back in. I'm gonna tune in Monday, and it's
Consistency.
exactly consistency. Consistency is it's a big thing in wrestling, and I think it's one of the most important things in wrestling is to always be consistent. I
Mm.
mean, it's hard. It's hard to stay consistent, but if you get to a point where you know what you're doing and you know your character and you know what you got to do, you can stay on that consistent level.
It excuse me. It's very important, and you brought up some good matches, even like with certain things, with storylines. Like even for example, I learned about Kenny Omega when he was in New Japan, going against Okada, and
Mhm.
my homie Mark Reconcile. He would say like, watch they matches, and I go on like YouTube. Like, bro, they matches for like an hour and 30 minutes long. For like, I was like, is this like the half of the show? Is this halftime? I was like, no, what's the whole match? And it's like, I'm only gonna watch this one time. I'm not bringing it back. I ain't doing none of that stuff. And I did get invested in the guys like Kenny. Now, you know me, I'm very vocal about the stuff now, but back then the psychology was a lot better and stuff like that.
Mhm.
With Brian and Zack Sabre, it was just like a long chain match. And I like chaining, but a lot
Yeah.
of people current ideas of chaining is that it's boring. Oh, we just do it at the beginning of the match and then we do
Mhm.
our move. But they told a story with it. So
Oh, man, they really did.
excuse me. You're a very good
I can
storyteller too.
I can sit back and think about that match they had and just I think that's one of the first matches I've actually seen where it's just strictly technical wrestling. Like I can go back and watch that match again and again and again and again, just so I can take little parts of that and study it and implement it into my own little move set. Even if I did want to do it in the beginning, or if I decided to work our arm, I could take what they implemented and work their arm throughout the match exactly how they did it. Just
Yeah.
dissecting my opponent piece by piece.
Yeah, we don't see stuff like you don't even see some of the moves that they've done. And that makes them innovative as well. I'm like, bro, I didn't know your arm could go all the way back like that. Like, what the devil? Like, who practices this? Like, who goes to the gym and says, "Hey, bro, let me get your arm. Let me put it behind your ear. Does this hurt? Yeah, this is my new move now." And I've always, and even when I wrestle, right? You know me, I'm a big old school fan, so I do simple stuff, but I try
Yeah.
to make it my own so people can like what I do and what I can provide. So like even saying like how we talk about like people say chaining and technical wrestling is boring, how they made it their own lane and things like that. You know, with
Mhm.
you, you're a showman as well, and you make it your own thing. You're not copying anybody else. You're like you can thrust your hips, pause, and nobody's saying you're doing Rick Rude stuff. They're saying this is something that D'Angelo still does. You're working the crowd as a heel or a bad guy. You're laughing. You're doing things. You're doing it yourself, And I do think that a lot of wrestlers don't try to make things their own. They're just trying to do it to get over, and sometimes it doesn't work. If that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. I think you want to make things your own. You know what I mean? Because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we're all copying things that we see from everybody. It's just all about
100%.
making, yeah, it's just all about making it your own. Like I love Dolph Ziggler. I love the way Dolph Ziggler sells. So when I first really watched Dolph Ziggler bumped and he took all these moves, I was like, you know what? I could do that and I can make it my own. So like the way I bump, the way I show my face, the way I just scream randomly just to get, a person in the crowd to get off their phone just real quick, because I know everybody not really paying attention sometimes. But if I yell or if I just come out there real quick to get their attention, I could pull them back in for a minute or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. Hey, we got some comments from Facebook
Uh-oh.
and YouTube. C Red says, "Hey son," or "Hey Chris."
Papa Red.
He also says HBK is the GOAT.
Yes, he
Uh,
is.
Jamie says hi all. So shout out to you, Jamie. Uh,
Jamie.
Mike Strong says, "Who you facing first for the C3 heavyweight title?"
Mm. Well, give me a thing. I know it's a lot of people that want a shot, but even though me and Jordan ain't on the best of terms right now, I feel like Jordan would be the first person up.
Mm,
You know.
that'd be a good match because y'all faced each other before. It was
Mhm.
great, and I think you guys were great as tag team champs too. You know, um, I would even now I would still put y'all up as some of the best tag teams around. Period. You know what I'm saying?
We did what
So
we could. You know, we did what we
the
could.
that promo game, man, what? And I would say, I was like, man, like this is some of the best stuff I've seen ever, period, because of everything that y'all put in there. And I'm a big promo guy.
Yeah.
And I'd be patient, because y'all about to knock it out the park. So,
I
but yeah,
get it.
that rematch, that'll definitely be something. So, Shay says 15 years.
Oh well, I don't know.
So you just show up. You just
she
show up. She's saying
she
15.
add, she adding stuff. Huh? She did the math, I guess. Huh?
She's saying she's 15 years. Jamari is 16. So
Oof.
no wait, Jamari's 15. So nah,
Oh
yeah,
my
15.
goodness.
Yeah, Jamari 15. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
That's a long time.
we all getting old. This year 11 for me. So but still, he said we all C3. Shout out to Classic Alpha and the Champ, D'Angelo Steele. Yella also says he loved it too. He's talking about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that match
Well,
was crazy, right?
people was mad. I enjoyed it. I'm sorry. I watch that match every year, bro. I
I,
look, hey, it was
I think a lot of people were mad because they wasn't expecting it, and just because it's like, oh well, it's Goldberg. He's old. But
oh, Rock has been
I
killing.
think, yeah, I think a lot of the times you need to remember to kind of suspend your disbelief. This is the we've all watched wrestling with us. Santino take out the Cobra and smack you with the Cobra thing. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah,
put people away for three. So
yeah.
sometimes you kind of suspend your disbelief. But I think the biggest thing with that match for me was I remember seeing Goldberg in WCW just spear jackhammer 1 2 3, spear jackhammer 1 2 3. So for me to see that again,
Hmm.
I won't say a big deal of nostalgia, but it was definitely shocking to see Brock just go out like that, and the way that Brock sold it too. Like it's Goldberg. What are you gonna do to me? And I remember he got shoved down, and he what? And then that bam, bam, 1 2 3. Is
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I understand people's gripe though. with it, but at the same
Hmm.
time, Goldberg previously beat Brock at, was it WrestleMania 20? That was
Yeah,
that
he
that was a
did.
match everybody won because they knew that they was leaving, but they faced each other before, and I mean Goldberg basically had Brock's number, just like Brock has Undertaker's number. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yes, he
just
does.
like I understood it, and him coming back trying to be a hero for his son. And it
Hmm.
to me it worked, and to even for Brock to get his lick back at WrestleMania, it just showed how great Brock Lesnar is still to this day. But yeah, I remember watching it. I was just like, man, like as soon as he had him up for the jackhammer, I was like, Brock gonna kick out of this. Then he
Right?
didn't.
He did not. He did not.
I was like,
Oh my
what? And then,
goodness.
they started overdoing it with with Goldberg. We was like, okay, you gonna see this Spear Jackhammer. Like that was his matches for like 2 years, dang. It was like that was what we're gonna see. And it was like, okay, we see what it is. They kind of exposed it. Now with Brock, it was a little different because at one point
Hmm.
Brock was just F5s, Kimuras, and German suplexes. But his was a little more spread out, and it made a little more sense. So uh Kev also says Brian versus Zach was crazy. He was in pain just watching.
I totally get that. Like been in the, oh my god. Like I want to know what, if I could just live in their mind why they was putting that together. Just to like come up with all these things and to bend this back and to bend this way, bend that way, work it around to the finish. And basically like the ending of the match, it sets up a number two because it's like, well, you didn't beat me with a technical maneuver, you beat me with a strike. So then that sets up another rematch.
Yeah.
And
But
I don't think a lot of people really see that aspect of it.
yeah, it it reminds me of like how important technical wrestling is because a lot of people they would wanted to see Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Because of
man, that would have been
you know what
crazy
I'm
too.
saying, the technical prowess of a show that these guys will put on and things like that. So for Zach and Brian to put on what they did and then have the crowd into it, that just shows you that other aspects of wrestling people will pay attention to and they will buy a ticket for. Like people bought tickets. Was it Wrestle Dream? They bought tickets for that match. Like some people
Hmm.
bought tickets for that match. So and with everything that Brian's going through with injuries and stuff like that, people are waiting for him to have a rematch with Okada and stuff, and then even with Zack Sabre and things like that. So that those are the kind of things is something to think about. It's just like I don't like when people say like certain aspects is boring. Oh, it's boring.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, okay, well, let me show you that it is entertaining. Let me show you what I can do with it, and then I'll make you eat those words. That's always been me with certain things. Like old school style, oh, it's outdated, it sucks, it doesn't work, blah blah blah.
yeah.
I got to do all of these moves. You don't really have to do all those moves. You wind up hurting
No, you
yourself.
really
You waking up sore, don't even know why your back hurting because you done did all this crazy stuff. And you got to go to work after the show. Like, come on now.
exactly.
Kev says, shout out to Rachel.
Yes, yes. Shout out to Rachel. She right here. All right,
It's a beautiful
that's my baby.
title. It's a definite
That's my baby.
beautiful title. Um, on Facebook, Tyler has sad faces because I guess you didn't say you wanted to face him. Man,
Okay.
oh,
If we gonna get on the we want to get on the list of people I want to face. I would love to face Tyler, Mike Strong, Marche, Jazz, Shaq Jordan, Miles Mercer. It's a long, long list. I recently wrestled Muggsy. I love to wrestle him again. I love to wrestle uh, Nick Diamond. I love to wrestle Storm Grayson. There's a lot of people I want to work. Just a lot of people that I haven't been in the same vicinity with. I still want to wrestle Aaron Stone. I'm good friends with most of these people, but I would love to wrestle them. It's just all a matter of getting it set up or us being at the right place at the right time. There's numerous places I would love to go. I'd even love to wrestle Lindsay Dorado. Lots of people. Long list. Okay, I can't fit everybody, but just
No,
know
yeah,
if you know
yeah,
me, I'm pretty sure I want to wrestle you.
yeah.
I don't discriminate. All right, females, if you want to wrestle me too, these hands are equal. They're equal for everybody. All right, just ask KO Kendrick. All right, they
He
equal opportunity. All right, equal opportunity butt whoopings. All right,
he said
I don't
equal right.
discriminate.
He said equal rights and lefts.
Yep, exactly. Equal rights, lefts, diagonals, foots, nails, whatever. You can get it. Anybody can get it. All right,
Yes. C Red
and
says
it's
shouldn't he get a shot? Atlas says you got his belt. Larkin says move your head so he can see his belt.
whoa. Uh-uh. No, 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 no. Uh-uh. You can't see Rachel. All right. Rachel, she here for me. All right. Rachel belongs. You know what? Come here, baby. Let the people see you. Listen, everybody want a shot. All right. You see this? This is mine. Rachel ain't going nowhere. We had long talks today. All right. We had long conversation. She said that she is happy that she finally got a man that can just hold her as long as she wants to without no care in the world. That's me, baby.
You got a
I'm
lot
your
of people.
forever champ.
You got a lot of people that want a shot at the title. Atlas says you fear he who is incredible.
Atlas, come on. Come on. Come on. You can have it too. Anybody
And
can get it, all right?
C Red says, how many Rachels are there?
It's too many to count.
Yeah, Atlas says he wants to fight KO Kendra. And
Oh yeah.
Larkin says Rachel for the streets.
All right now. All right. See, now you're getting disrespectful. All right. Now you're getting disrespectful. All right now. I thought we was all
Yellow,
cool, Mr. Larkin. I thought we was all
yellow,
cool, Mr. Larkin.
yellow hop from YouTube to Facebook to say had to come over here with the crew. But Mike Straw says unranked wrestler. I gotta ask him what exactly he meant by that. But Dell says if you could have a WWE style table of
Ooh.
three, be your three. That's a good question. That is a
Hmm.
good question. Wow, that's a good question.
Okay. Um, does it have to be people in WWE or just like a WWE style table of three? Because if
I
we're
just
gonna
think it's
do
I don't know. I think he means just any three, but like you know how they
okay,
had the table of three. Yeah.
okay, Omega,
Mm-hmm.
man, we got Omega. I would definitely say Punk, Omega, Punk, and oh man, Zack Saber Jr.
Okay.
Omega, Punk, and Zack Saber Jr. Just so I can hear those three different styles feed off of each other, give because I don't know too much backstory about Zack, you know. So I would love to see where he started, how he wound up getting interested in the chain wrestling the way he does, how he continues to be innovative with things like that. Omega, I would love to hear his thought process behind wrestling the blow up dog. I still remember that match. I like I've heard expressions of like, oh, Shawn Michaels could have a match with a broom, and this match had a match with a blow up dog. So I would love to hear that whole process. And then of course Punk. I just want to hear everything. Like I just feel like out of all the wrestlers, he's like the most outspoken. So I
Oh,
feel like,
for
I
sure.
feel like I would get a lot of things unfiltered from him. And I think that would be my good table of three.
So I know you definitely tuning in about an hour
Oh yeah.
to to, to see what the man gonna say.
Yeah, I'm glued in. Me and Rachel, front row seat.
You and Rachel. Mike said, rated E for everyone. Everybody dropping comments. I love it, but God dog, everybody at the same time. But Larkin was robbed. But I go Arshawn talking
Yeah.
that mess again.
Hey, I didn't eliminate him, so that
Yeah,
that ain't on me. That ain't on
shout
me.
out, shout out to Arshawn, Critically Drinking YouTube page. A lot of great topics that he discussed with a lot of people on this panel. Um, after I'm done beating on Classic, I'll
Oof.
be this.
Oh, classic.
You know what do
Look
women
like he
say?
coming for you, man.
What women say? People be like delusional. That's what Alex is right now. You know,
Hey.
what the young people saying now? I'm standing on business when me and him fight. So incredible. All right, we'll see. I mean, incredible and hospitalized. Arshawn says Rachel.
Whoa. Whoa. All this disrespect. I'm gonna need y'all to stop coming for my baby now, all right?
Rachel has been with 3 men and
It's
3 women.
okay.
She is
Sometimes we gotta go to two, three people to get to the one you love, the one you're supposed to be with. All right? Relax. She
I
with the
don't know.
one and only now.
I don't know how to feel about that. Um,
It's just like a relationship, baby. You
okay.
know?
Arshawn brings up a good point though. You know, with things that have happened in the world of C3,
Hmm.
and within 3 events, we've had 3 champs, 3 C3 wrestling champs. So, what makes you different, and how are you going to keep your hands on that title?
I think the difference is, unlike everybody else, I'm more sadistic.
Mm,
You know, I know Just Amazing. He can't go to that level of evil that I can. All right. My guy Miles, that's my dog. But even things that I want to do to keep this may make him scratch his head a little bit. So if you want to take this from me, you better be willing to give up a limb, give up a toe, maybe even a finger. You're gonna have to sacrifice something.
the big
Because it's
toe.
gonna be hard. It's hey, big toe, little toe, pinky toe. You gonna have to give up something. But it's gonna be hard to get this away from me. All right. You understand me?
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Like like I said, you've been working. You putting a lot of time in wrestling and things like that. So for you to win the belt, it's a curious thing to see how you're going to hold on to it. Larkin says, "We cool. It's my job to be honest with you, my boy." I guess he's talking about your title. David Kraft, shout out to him, the referee of C3. He says, "What is a match you would love to be in that you haven't been in yet?"
Mm, a steel cage
Mm,
and a tables match.
tables match.
Hmm.
Ooh,
Yeah. I gotta. I gotta.
why tables match? Even more than a cage match. Why tables?
um, I would like to put somebody to a table. I got a lot of ideas in my head. I want to jump off something high. You know, I
Don't do a
just feel
sting.
like,
Don't do a sting.
it's one of the matches that I've always been interested in because I've always liked the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian. So no, I think I take a lot of inspiration from them. I've been in a ladder match, but like maybe like a one-on-one ladder match, I'd love to do that. You know, um, I've had a last man standing match. That was fun. I think I'd love to do that again too. You know, I think I'm all for just about everything. You know, death matches. I don't know. Maybe we'll get there.
Now this
Maybe we'll get there.
C3. Now this C3. Nah, we ain't doing that. And that's funny because David just asked, "Would you do a Texas death match?"
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's you asked me another. Why am I gonna keep this title? Who else willing to do a Texas death match? Hmm?
Not me.
Yeah. Hmm.
You got me there.
You know, it's in the back of my mind. You know, me and Rachel, we talk about it. You know,
Yeah,
we talk about it.
Arshawn, Arshawn's still talking about the belt, and he said Black Widow belt, and Yella says she might be more Lori than Rachel.
Whoa. All right. I'm gonna need y'all to stop all this disrespect. All right.
And getting on the belt, man.
Y'all,
I don't know how to feel, man. I'm trying to
y'all.
defend it, but I
Hey, if I keep this title long enough, Mike, I will fight everybody.
it says Larkin versus Steele, Rachel on the table. Hey, man, they lit. Table match. Your mama not going.
Yes, she is. I'm gonna make sure she go.
Nah, she gonna get you. If you survive the table, you won't survive, but your mom gonna get you. Atlas. Arshawn always gives some Atlas. Oh, they always
I see.
going tiff each other.
You better be careful.
Man,
Uh oh.
death match.
Uh
So
oh.
they do a death match with you.
Uh oh. You hear that? You hear that,
Hey,
girl?
get the mops. Get the mops, gotta get all that blood off. David does say, and you kind of said it, but I get he wanted to know who is a dream opponent.
Anybody or like people that I know? Just like anybody. Um,
Anybody, anybody.
I think I would love. I know he don't wrestle no more, but I love to wrestle Shawn Michaels. I would love to
Man,
wrestle Shawn Michaels just so I could take the super kick and sell it how I want to sell it, just so I can learn from what I learned, learn what I need to learn. I'd also love to face Triple H, you know, just because he's another person that I used to watch. I know they call him Cerebral Assassin. You know, it's a reason why they call him that. And people that I know personally, um, I think if any number one is on my list right now, just because we haven't had a chance to touch at all, I would say probably Marche, just because like we've crossed paths, but like we've never had a one on one. So I'd love to wrestle Marche just because he got so much knowledge and he's just willing to offer it up. And uh besides Marche, I'd want to wrestle Mike Strong. You
yeah,
know,
I think that'd be a great match. Honestly, I think that'd be a real
I
good.
kind of see a lot of similarities between me and Mike. So I would love to
Yeah,
wrestle Mike.
I think definitely a great match. C Red says your pops.
See, he got to make sure he's ready for that.
You go
If
whoop him
he
daddy.
ready, if he hey, if he ready when he get in that ring, he ain't my pops no more.
Ooh, that's
When you get in
nasty.
that ring, you somebody that's coming for Rachel. And no,
I'm scared.
mm-mm,
He said,
no.
"You're not pops when it come to Rachel."
I'm the only
Oh
one
Lord.
that come for Rachel. You understand me?
Mhm. Dave says me versus you. Man, we had a long history, man. I remember one point we wrestled each other like every year, dang near almost every other
Yeah,
month from
it was.
different
Yeah, we did.
LOW, PPW. Shoot, we had a tag match beginning of this year. I lost, but still, um, it is what it is. But Yeah, it was a time. It would be like, man, almost every time we show up, like, man, we probably gonna go against each other because that's
Yeah,
just how it was. Because they knew that like we rode together, or if it was me and me, you and Mike Valentine. Shout out to Mike. Man, they got
yes.
stories on that. But
Oh
we
my
ain't gonna do them
goodness.
today because bro gonna start soon. I don't want to keep you that long. But before I let you go, I'm gonna ask two more questions.
Okay.
What was your worst experience in professional wrestling?
Oh man. I think my worst experience in professional wrestling might have been, I think it was after well, I want to say I got two. So when I broke my ankle, you was there for that.
Yeah.
That sucked because, during that time period I was at Galley, me and Chico, Suave, we were a team and, we were supposed to win the titles at Galley. And,
Mm-hmm.
I got hurt. So therefore that opportunity went to somebody else. And, I felt bad because, I felt like I let us down. So that that really bothered me, and we never really got a chance to recover, never really got a chance to get another shot to actually hold the titles. So that really bothered me. And then I think if I could say like my worst, it might have been when I tore my ACL. I got real depressed. You know, I I I started to not like wrestling. I started to get bitter. I started to get upset that people that I thought I was cool with would check on me and they didn't. But I can't. I realize now that you can't be like that because everybody has a life of their own.
Mm-hmm.
But that back then, I was, man. You couldn't bring nothing wrestling wise to me because I hated it. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to hear about it. I didn't want to see it on TV. I didn't want to play no wrestling games. I didn't want to hear nothing with wrestling. And I think that was probably like the worst experience I probably ever had because I just hated everything about it.
Yeah, I remember messaging you a couple times, and I remember you would like say that, but it was just like I'm not really like trying to talk to you about wrestling. I'm just trying to check on you.
Yeah,
Just check on you because it was some crazy time. I remember you sending me the video clip of it, and it was real nasty. So it's like I'm glad that you found the love back because injuries can do that. I mean, when I hurt myself,
yeah,
embarrassing, but when I hurt myself, it was one point I was like, dang, do I really want to do this, man? Because dang, this thing hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but sometimes we gotta persevere and we gotta push through. And I'm glad, like, through all the obstacles and setbacks that was in your way, you overcome them. And I think that like more younger people should look to you and talk to you about these kind of situations, especially with those injuries, like ankle injuries and ACL injuries. They're very common in professional wrestling. You know, like some of the most common out of anything. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we've seen people retire from wrestling with a injury that wasn't that serious. You know what I'm saying? Just a bad bump. So
yeah, man.
it's a good thing that like you can come back from those kind of things. Yeah, Arshawn ankle break.
Yeah,
The
bro.
DJ Doe, shout out. What up? Say I'm gonna need your music unless you're using the same. The champ needs new music. You say he need new music.
Mhm. All right, I'll look
Shay
into
has a
that.
say.
Yeah,
Shay
man.
also she also brought up that we did have a tag match. I forgot about that tag match.
Man, we did have a tag match, didn't we?
It was in Gary, the
That's
basketball
right.
court.
I think
It
it
was me
was.
and Kendra versus you and Shay. And
Yeah.
the kids was kicking Shay. Like they was like kicking her under the rails. That
Mm.
was a good match, man. I wish I would have recorded it, man.
And we could always run it back.
Huh?
We could
Always, for
always run
sure.
it back.
For sure. I'm gonna read a few more comments and I'm gonna say two more things. I sound like a pastor because I keep saying it, but C Red says I would give you the whooping your mama should have given you a long time ago.
Mm. Oh, well, I hate to tell you this, but my mama used to give me whoopings. So you know, Hey, I don't know
And
if you can give me a whooping worse than she did.
Dave is asking me when is the next show. I'm letting him know. I'm trying. I'm gonna talk to somebody tomorrow about something. So cross fingers. Kev says, "Man, that's why I have the utmost respect for all of us. Y'all put y'all bodies on the line to entertain us. I appreciate the love. You know, one thing that I don't want to do is I don't like saying I don't want people to just respect me because this is what I decided to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Like,
get
hey,
that.
I want y'all to give me the accolades because I decided to put my body through this and things like that. We enjoy doing this stuff knowing that they're a risk.
Hmm.
Man literally tore both his ACLs going into the ring. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I love that people even say that. And I'm truly grateful for that kind of thing because everybody don't represent what a wrestler is supposed to be in this game. You get what I'm saying? Some people they're not talented, but they're popular. And I hate saying it like that, but it's 100% true, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, they make a killing off of it. So that's pretty good. Like guys like Kev, Arshawn, other guys that I talk to, they say that they appreciate that. So thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? Um, what's your best moment in professional wrestling?
Um, honestly, probably winning my first title because I just feel like that's some type of recognition. They'll be like, you know what, we've been noticing that you've been grinding. We're noticing that the crowd is kind of behind you. You're quote unquote over. So I think that right there, that and like getting a regular booking other than what I was. So like
Mm-hmm.
I want to say when we were with Ivan and I got a booking outside of that, and when I
Mm-hmm.
continue to get bookings outside of that, that's a big accomplishment. That made me feel like, you know what? It's not just here. It's other places that notice it as well.
That's whew, that's that's that for real. Nobody's never answered it like that. But yeah, that's like a big thing when people say like I'm a fan of your work. Like a few people have said that to me this year. I'm like, I don't even know you, but what's up? Like, thank you. Like, I appreciate that because sometimes people just try to stay in their lane, if that makes sense. Certain
Yeah.
things, you know. So for me, I don't. I look at a lot of people. You brought up Shaq Jordan. Shaq Jordan is one of these guys that a lot of people are talking about. A lot of people saying they want dream matches with Quinn Whittick. I believe I'm saying his name right.
Yes. Quinn
Uh,
Woodard too. I
yeah,
would want to wrestle him
a
too.
lot of
He's a
people
cool
have
guy.
said things about him. Marche Rocket, like a lot of people have said like these names before. Mike Strong, like a lot of people want to go against Mike Strong. You know what I'm saying? So I look at the product not only just as like a fan or even a book or a wrestler. I just look at it, and so like I've been to shows to see these guys wrestle. I see what they put on social media, so it's just like when you can say these names and you say you got a list, you can't even like stop your list. You know what I'm saying? And it's good. Even Spade is saying champ versus champ, the most important title in
Oh my
C3.
goodness. Yes.
Like you know what I'm saying? I want to go
Spade
against
as well.
I want to
Spade
go
as
against
well.
Spade. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want to smoke with Spade. Like you know what
Out
I'm saying? So it's
Spade, Chris Logan. Chris Logan, I know he's
oh,
retired. I know he's retired, but Shane Fury, that's of course, Miles Mercer. Can't forget about the Kane. You know,
mm-hmm.
all these people. Trust me. Yeah, like I said, if you know me, I want to wrestle you. Okay, even if we have in the past,
If you know me, pull up. That's what he's saying. That's
just
what he's saying.
about basically. You know
Pull
what I
up.
mean?
All right. Jamie says, I appreciate you both as Mr. Psychopath. He has truly grown to a higher level since I first met him. Pre-COVID, the match versus JPH truly opened his eyes. That was a great match. That was a great match. So Arshawn says gotta roll out, but I wanted to come through. Much love to C3 Classic the Champ. Shout out to you, sir.
Thanks, dog.
Before you
Mhm.
go, I do want to show some screenshots that I took. Like when I say this man is my brother, this man is my brother. Okay, I don't, you know, a lot of people are my brother, but this is my brother. So I'm gonna bring up some old pictures. All right, you ready?
Oh Lord, yeah. All right, let me see him.
All right. See, Red brought this one up when he
Oh
was here
Lord.
last We did the last live for the show.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I ain't got neither one of them. I ain't got neither one of them no more. They both gone.
I still got my tight. My tight's still over here. I got too
Yeah, you,
big for 'em, I ain't gonna lie. I like too
you know
big.
I still got the black ones though. The
Yeah,
black ones you gave me.
I was happy to see that. I was happy to see that. I remember this was the LOW show at the store
Yeah. Hmm.
outside,
That's
and
when I was just trying to get my little dreads too.
yeah, you had double duty that night. You
Yes.
was yourself, and then you was also a lost Robbie. I kicked you in the face. I'm sorry, but I remember this picture. I remember I got tan lines on my body because it was hot outside when we was doing ring crew. This was when I wasn't scared to not. I wasn't scared to show my body and my skin and stuff like that. It's a different ball game now. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, I remember this. So I was like, I remember this was so dope to me. Um, like I said, like even this right. It's showing.
That bring back. That bring back memories. Oh man.
Like
Whoa! Look at Jamara. He's so small.
right,
Oh my gosh.
at my wedding, a lot of these people that's in this picture I consider brothers. Like I truly mean that. So like I can look back at this and I can smile and just look back at all these people that like had something to do with me coming up, especially living out here. So I always had to have you as like one of the guys, one of the groomsmen and stuff like that. And you showed up, you showed out. Um, this was a post that you posted
Oh man.
and you was giving people their flowers and stuff. Like C Red was your bro at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
he was your bro at the time, and Mike won the
Man.
title. Shout out to Mike. And then
Yes,
you also
sir.
said, world champ. I think it's when I won the IUWA title, and I think this was the title the show where we had when we was doing a benefit show for my brother's daughter, my niece. So one more picture though, one more, I promise.
No, it's all right. Bringing back memories. You did your Oh man, boy, I remember that.
Oh man, I remember it too. All right. History lesson. Um, I lost the title to him this show because he cashed in his opportunity. I had a 4-way, and I'm not taking away from him. I'm just saying I lost, but I was excited for him. I had to take a picture with him.
Next
At the
time I
time,
do a 450, I'll land it right.
yeah, you tried the 450 and you did the Harlem Hangover. You did the Harlem Hangover, and
I did.
it didn't hurt.
Oh,
I was fine. But this
oh,
I was happy for you because, like I said, even what you have now, we're not only just C3, but other companies too. Like you put in a lot of work in and stuff. So this was actually like one of my last times wrestling for IUWA until I like came back. I think it was PRW at the time, but
yeah.
yeah, you my brother. So it's just like I wanted to show those because when I was getting ready to set up the show, I was like, oh man, like these is bringing back memories. Like we was really going up and down the roads. We was going to Woodstock together. We was going to other spots. We was hanging out. We was going to other shows. We was going to Galley and things.
Yeah.
And even with Mike truck broke going to
Oh
us.
my goodness, that was crazy.
Bro, the truck broke. We went back to get
So
another
many
car
times.
to go to the wrestling show. And bro, and Mike's
So many memories.
right, Mike's episodes that he be having and he used to have. I'm like, bro, why you ain't tell nobody nothing? I gotta talk to him about that. I have to interview him about that. All right, bro, that's very important to tell us. Sitting in the tow truck. It was a 3-man tow truck and 4 people was in it. Like it was like the weirdest, craziest things for us, bro. But good times, good times. So
It really was.
before you go out there and say, congratulations for your success. Uh, thank you for everything that you continue to do
Mm,
in wrestling. Thank you for being a great brother to me. There were times where I'd go to practice and I'd hope you was there because I knew that we was gonna compete or we was gonna crack jokes and things like that. I was like, hey man, is Courtney gonna be there? Is it still gonna be there? He got to be there. Uh, you made wrestling fun for me at a lot of times. You get what I'm saying? And I've always felt that you had a heart, mind, and soul for professional wrestling. You get what I'm saying? So I always wanted to acknowledge that, and I also say I want to appreciate you. So thank you for even this interview.
Thank you, brother. I don't get all mushy, like that. But I love you, man. You make it easier. You know, you make it a lot easier. You Mike, Miles, all of y'all. You make it easier to have fun in wrestling, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Wrestling can be hard, it can be stressful, but you make it easier, and I appreciate that. And, I
but
love you,
yeah,
man. You
I
know,
love you, man. I love you too, man. I love you. But
hey, if I
I,
can, before we go, real quick,
I,
I want to give a shout out to all the women that support us. Your wife.
for sure,
I know it ain't hard. I know it's hard, but
man.
just know we appreciate y'all. I want to give a shout out to my girl. She the Rachel behind the Rachel. So we love y'all and we appreciate everything y'all do. So don't think it's unnoticed because we appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Because man, especially at PPW shows every 2 weeks. My
Yeah,
goodness,
man.
and I had to apologize to my old lady because it was always days she was off,
Yeah, and
and
you had to go wrestle.
and I had a belt, and even then, and I had to apologize because that's my lady. So shout out
Yeah, man.
shout out to the women. Sometimes I don't want to say we are putting that over them, but that's
Yeah.
how it feels to them.
Hmm.
It took me a while to understand that, and I'm grateful to God that my wife stuck around because
Yeah.
I told her that I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not gonna do this
Hmm.
because it's wilding. It really was wilding because I was like, dang, every 2 weeks, and we'd go. You know what I'm saying? All day. So shout out to the women. But all right, man, I'm gonna let you go because Raw is about to start. So I hope everybody's having a good day. God bless you guys. Once again, thank you, D'Angelo Steele, holder of Rachel C3 Ultimate Wrestling Champion. Everybody tune in to what we're going to do in the future. I got a lot of things that I want to get done. Just pray for us. Subscribe to our channels and everything. So this is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.